Blam blam.
Bam, bam.
Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Zoned In.
Zoned in, zoomed in.
Yeah.
We got left to right, right to left. Let's see. We got Jomo.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Usually the camera guy, but here I am in the face-to-face.
Yeah. All right, and we got Jay. All right, we got Nelly J. We got Debo.
What up? Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes, we can hear you, Debo.
Look at you.
All right, beautiful.
I move in
I changed my
silence.
mic.
What do you say?
I move in
changed my mic.
silence.
You moving?
Jay moves in silence. So, hi, everyone. I mean, honestly, it's been a break. We have been chatting behind closed doors, but we're back for a special episode. And we have, of course, as you know, Jay and Mr. Debo, who has been on the show before. So Jay is our first time guest. So let's clap Jay in.
Welcome back.
Yes, Jay. If you know about Jay, we were all together on our previous episode called Season Rookies. That was our old podcast. So welcome, Jay.
Yep.
Jay is the man that knows
days.
all the stats. Jay, I call him Stats Man.
Mr. Factual Actual.
Yeah. Too bad this isn't the podcast for that, but we'll get into that later on.
So guys, how has it been without sports? Like, how are you coping? How's your withdrawal without the live sports? No NBA, nothing. No MLB.
Well, I'll just say, for me personally, since Rudy Gobert shut down World Athletics, I think maybe 2 days after, I said, I need a detox. So I usually every day I'm checking ESPN, and I have not followed any sports at all. Anything I see is just kind of in passing. I'm good. I mean, for me, life goes on. Some other things have happened. Little baby girl came April 1st.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've been focused on family life. So the timing of this COVID thing, is ideal for me. But yeah, I'd be interested because you guys have been more following what's happening in the sports scene, which really seems to be dead. It's nothing more than just bunch of hypotheticals and rumors. So you guys can kind of get me caught up to date with what's been going on.
It seems like sports has been one big fat speculation.
Mm.
Outside of UFC, golf, NASCAR, no one else is really doing anything. The only bright side really was we got a little bit of action from The Last Dance.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that later. But definitely, that's the only time I was actually involved with anything to do with sports. Every Sunday, I'd watch it, but other than that, how about you, Nelly?
Yeah, I mean, coping, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Having no sports is not ideal for anyone. I had to talk to my friends more, socialize more. I am really missing the playoffs. Like, being a Toronto fan, the Raptors, a year ago, we were in the playoffs and we just
Sitting on the top.
Yeah, like we beat
Did I leave
Milwaukee.
this meeting now?
Like it was just a great playoff run. Like we doubted the haters. Stephen A said that the Raptors made everyone look like complete idiots who doubted them, and it was amazing. And I kind of miss, because I really want to see the Raptors in the playoff run, so I kind of miss that competitive, like being a fan, watching stuff like that. But especially baseball, like I miss just all the sports. Like I miss watching games, going to games. The Blue Jays games are fun to go to as well. So it's been rough. It's getting warm outside and you can't even go outside. You know what I mean? Like, so that's my thoughts on it. So yeah. How about you, Jay?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube from last year, like highlights, but other than that, it seems like it's like one league's waiting for the other to finally figure out their comeback plan. Like I think the NBA is going to look at the NHL and think, I wonder what we should do to make our product more watchable than hockey. Because right now all we know is the NHL is coming back.
Right.
And outside of the UFC, which came back a couple weeks ago, I think, you can't really model hockey after UFC necessarily, but I think the NHL is going to come back, and I think the NBA will then follow suit, but try to improve on what people are watching when it comes to like the actual quality of the sport, because there's not going to be any fans. It's going to be weird, obviously. Like winning a title in the NBA this year, it's really going to be like there's no crowd. It's going to be like we're just watching an empty arena of professionals playing basketball, and they're going to raise the trophy and the confetti's going to come down, but there's nobody that's going to celebrate with them. So it's like, what are we really watching right now? Like, I'd rather have it just personally, I would rather have just the season canceled, but that's just my own personal thought.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Jomo?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing what I can, like taking advantage of the NBA.com subscription. So going back to watch the Raptors playoff run again. Yes, so entertaining, Jay.
Again.
Doing that. Also watching, like, even pulling up old games on YouTube. So like some of the Detroit series against the Celtics in the '89, and even some of their games, like been watching that. Definitely missing the real thing. Like I didn't watch the horse tournament or anything like that. But I mean, get outside.
Gosh.
Let's get outside time. Start kicking the ball around, throwing the ball around, right? It's time to do more. But other than taking advantage of the free subscriptions and watching old stuff, it's just been complete withdrawal for me.
I heard about that horse tournament. Like that's the ultimate desperation. If you got to watch professionals play horse in their driveway, I was like offended by that. Actually,
here's the thing, though. I wouldn't actually mind it, though. It's just like the setup was garbage. The execution was awful. It could have been good, but the execution was awful.
At All-Star Weekend, like indoors or something.
Like I'm here for a good horse competition, but like the setup was trash. You gotta have people like talking trash with each other.
True. Even like did anyone watch the NBA 2K tournament with the players?
No.
That was trash too.
Did you watch it, Debo? Or
I watched a little bit of it, but again, it was trash. So it was like I can't do this. I don't miss sports that much.
Yeah. I mean, hey, like if you play video games, I'm sure you'll get your sports. I guess your sports like I guess a little bit of injection, a little bit.
Because like, I have the game they're playing. Like I'm gonna go play the game my damn self.
It's true. Like watching NBA players play 2K is like, to me, it's like redundant because like there are better players that can play 2K out there. So why am I watching like Kevin Durant and these other players? I don't care. Like
it's just like watching your own boys on the couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's more fun because like you're probably drinking, having a time, eating some food. Like it's a lime, right?
You're invested. Like, you have an invested interest in that.
Yes. So Jay kind of touched on this a little bit. The NBA, should they come back, guys? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, should the NBA just be done? Like, hey, it finished, done, or should they at least try to finish off the season?
Here's a question to the group: would any of you guys actually like respect the champion this year? If they were to came back, would you respect the champion like you would respect previous champions? Give them the same ratings?
No, forever asterisks. Forever asterisks.
I think everybody agrees because I'm 100% sure not every player is gonna play.
Nope.
Yes.
So, I agree. Asterisks. Just even the thought, maybe at the time when Rudy Gobert came out, him and Donovan Mitchell, and I said, you know what, like, season's done. And then that's one thing, every once in a while I keep hearing about the NBA and their plans to do things, and they're like toying with people's emotions. I'm like, you know what, like, just end the season, get it over with. Like, you have the lockout season, and history's remembered those season is the lockout season, and they move forward. And I think we need to look at this as the COVID season and just forget about it and move forward. It's just a joke. Like, I'm totally not for it. Now, mind you, if they do come back, I'm not boycotting it. I'm going to watch it. But, I mean, I do have some problems with them coming back. One would be, say, for instance, what happened, Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. So you have two players on a playoff run team. Say someone in the league, down to a score, somebody gets COVID. What do you do?
Someone's going to. It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
You say they're not going to?
No, I said it's inevitable. Someone's going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, it's different if you have, like, say, Jared Dudley, you know, he gets COVID. It's not really going to make a difference in regards to a playoff run. But you have to start fired. Like,
LeBron James gets it.
LeBron James gets it. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard gets, you know, somebody of impact gets it. What do you do?
But that's the problem, in my opinion. It's deeper than that, right? Because let's take the scenario that they're trying to use. Let's say you hypothetically can have everybody in private Disney World all together by themselves, just the NBA, right? So you're going to have all these teams, managers, right? Coaches, right? Players, and a select limited number of family.
Right.
So forget about the basketball players catching COVID. What happens when LeBron's son catches COVID?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Sure, he's young, he's healthy, he'll probably bounce back. Is LeBron playing that game?
Right.
Or is LeBron at the hospital with his son?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so funny because...
Come on now.
I agree. Like, my opinion on this entire NBA, I think it's just the media they're bored. You know, all these ESPN, they're just bored. So they're trying to create news and create this, like, NBA back or not. Like, guys, like, we're over it. I just think that NBA players are going to have staff, like you said, Jomo, right? Forget the family. Imagine the staff. Like, is LeBron going to cook for himself? No. Will LeBron clean behind himself? No. So they're going to have people, like, helping them, right? They have doctors, coaches, personal assistants. They have families too. So they got to move everyone in each organization, their family, their friends, their support staff, everyone into Disney. Every single person. And people, guess what? People at Disney have their own staffers too to help upkeep Disney as well. So the chances are of no one not getting COVID at all within that entire stuff, maintenance workers, everybody, like, no, like, someone will catch it. And is it worth it? Like, honestly, just end the season. COVID has won. COVID won, NBA 0. That's what I think, okay? COVID won, NBA 0. So
Jay, what do you say?
Talking to me?
What do you say?
Put it this way, the NHL, the way they're doing it is everyone's going back to training camp.
Okay.
So I think they're starting in mid-June for hockey training camp. And then they're going to resume the season in July.
Okay.
It's my thing. If it comes back, I'm going to watch. Clearly, like, there's really no ifs, ands, or buts.
Right.
My thing is, like, when are they going to start the next season? Because
December.
When?
December.
Yeah, which is about right because you would have that three
Yeah.
playoffs.
Okay.
You know.
But then you're going to have another training camp in what? October, November?
Well, actually, the league was actually tinkering with maybe pushing the start date back anyways. Even before COVID, they're actually talking about possibly starting the league in December. That's
Will it be an 82 game schedule next season?
See, that we don't know. You know, at this premature at this point, we don't know.
Yeah. Like, I like the 82 games. I hate when people complain about it. Like, it keeps me occupied throughout the whole winter.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'd probably start to get sick of basketball, like watching it in June, which is when the NBA finals are anyways.
Right.
I move into baseball and soccer and all that. But I'm just curious to see what happens after the.
So, question, guys. I mean, if they move back the league, I feel like, do you think there'll be players in the NBA playing in the Olympics next year with all this happening? Like, because remember, NBA players, especially with I'm wondering if there'll be people playing in the Olympics, because if everything gets pushed back, and players for 2021, the NBA might resume their season back to normal. And with the Olympics, they might push that back depending on when this is over. It could be who knows, right? Because it might be in September next year. We don't know.
No, your point is going to be tight, but I still think this is the Olympics. It's not like the World Championship of basketball. You know what I'm saying?
The
Yeah.
Olympics are done this year. They're not happening this year.
No,
21.
it's next year, 2021.
2021. So I think the Olympics is big enough that I think even if there's going to be a tight schedule, they'll make it happen. That's what I think.
You know what I think? And I was thinking this over actually like maybe a month ago. You know what the NBA should just do, because this season's sort of a wash anyways, is if you're going to bring it back, why not just run like an NCAA tournament type of playoff?
I've been hearing that.
That's what I was saying.
All 32
Like,
teams
wanted
make
to
it,
have
1 through
like
32.
in-season cup. Do it.
Yeah. Do 1 through 32. Make it like a 2 out of 3 series for the first round or whatever. And proceed from there. Because that way, you know, because upsets happen, obviously. But
Yeah.
you want to make it still like somewhat like if Milwaukee's playing, I don't know, say the Knicks. The Knicks can fluke win a game, and then it's like, okay, why am I watching now? Because I want to see Giannis go all the way.
The
Make it
NBA
like a 2
wanted
out
to
of
test
3.
out a mid-season tournament anyway. This is a perfect time to do it. Call it the COVID Cup.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Exactly. To me, it can't be an NBA championship because
Yeah.
NBA championship to me requires those like back and forth, like so a tournament, a
Home
COVID
court
Cup.
advantage. Go home court advantage in the finals.
To me, like I think if they do a tournament this year, they should call it a Kobe something, like maybe Bryant tournament or a Bryant Cup. I think that'll be dope if they do a tournament that, you know, they should still kind of come up, like, you know, make it behind Kobe's name. That'd be dope. But to me, I don't think we can have an NBA champion this year. Like that's done.
I agree.
Like there's no NBA
It's
champion.
going to happen, though. There's going to be an NBA champ regardless. Like it's going to be an
champ
asterisk.
next year. Yeah, but I'm saying, but this year in 2020, NBA champion, the NBA champion is washed. So to me, a tournament would be fun because at least they get their competitive blood out there and they can win in tournament style. But I just don't think like NBA playoffs requires teams playing in home courts. Like I want to see away games. Like that's how a true champ can win away. You know what I mean? Like a tournament with no fans. Like what is this? Like
it's
if the Leafs win, the cup, where are you going to celebrate in Toronto?
Oh, we'll celebrate. Yeah. Sure, we'll celebrate. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, give them a cup, whatever they want. But like, I know LeBron like is pushing for a championship. I get it. LeBron wanted a ring so badly. I get it, LeBron. But honestly, like to win a championship this year without fans, without having to visit away state, all that is mental. Like, I'm not going to respect any team who wins a champ this year with no fans in the stadium. Like,
no, not at all.
You know what I mean?
But I think from a viewership standpoint, like if the NBA wants to make the most money, I think make an NCAA tournament. That way it'll catch people's eye. Because everyone watches March Madness.
Agreed, right. Yeah.
Even if you don't really like college ball, you still watch it like anybody.
Right.
Question, should they bring back March Madness? Because March Madness is tournament style, but there are too many teams in it, right? I mean, I kind of miss that a lot, the March Madness. Like, I kind of wish we had that tournament this year because there were a lot of good teams.
No, March.
Done.
No,
it's done. I know it's done. I know because they got the draft pick and everything. But I'm just saying, like, I kind of wish we had a March Madness. So, what you guys' thoughts on sports? So, to me, a new era has begun in sports with COVID, these pandemics. How do you think the sports world can move forward with this type of, I call it barrier, in terms of having fans there, having players? Like, for example, the NFL, I think they're back this season. Do you think they can have a season with COVID happening? Do you think they can even have games? Because the NFL is a fans-based kind of, league, right?
Yeah. You can't even tailgate. Tailgate parties?
In Buffalo, yeah.
Done.
I think people are dying for sports so badly right now that as soon as you put a product out, you will get viewers.
Yeah.
Right? And if people are fans of the sport anyways, they will watch, right?
The question, Jomo, is how they monetize online viewership. Because keep in mind, right, in the NFL, NFL tickets were like maybe $80 to $200, depending on, for me as a regular person, right? I'm thinking, but when I go to that stadium, guess what? I'm buying beer. I'm buying food. You buy this, you buy that. You enter different draws. Like the NFL monetizes their industry by parking tickets. All this stuff adds to the value of that stadium, right? So I'm saying having no fans in your stadium how can you monetize online viewership? How can a sports league now monetize online viewership?
100%. You want the truth?
Yeah.
Online gambling. You have
Okay,
gambling right throughout the whole game. You bet on everything.
Okay, so
you bet on the
the
quarter.
owners,
You bet on the minute. You
oh,
bet on everything.
so I know,
You
but
can
I'm
have
saying
that to a
these
certain
teams don't
extent
make
right
money
now?
off gambling, though, Jomo.
Pardon?
These teams don't make money off of gambling. I'm saying the ownership teams, like the owners of these
But the
teams.
league can license somebody to authorize gambling, right? The league could do that, right? The
and
league,
whoever they gamble on goes to that
right,
team or whatever. Yeah.
right? The league can license gambling, and technically, the league could even license gambling on their website if they want, right? If they partner with the right people, they could do it. And if they're monetizing the gambling, they're definitely winning. The house always wins, always, right? And that happens multiple games throughout the whole game, right? And if people are putting money down, if they're trying to win, if they're using points to win fan merch, if they're like, however you want to have it go down, right? If you can bet on what you think is going to happen next for sports while you watch on your phone, your TV, your tab, whatever, that's money. That's money.
I think, honestly, I look at the Oakland A's already. I don't know if you've heard, but like they aren't paying their minor league players already, and they haven't paid the rent on their building. I think a lot of small market teams. I think you might even see a couple teams even call it a night. Like the small teams, obviously not the teams with like huge populations. New York's are always going to be here. LA is always going to be here. But like a team like Oakland, who already was struggling before the whole COVID thing, they haven't even paid rent on their stadium, and their minor league players are not even being paid anymore. So it's like, if you continue with COVID and you have no fans in the building, where's this money going to come from? That could be a team that might fold in the next, I don't know, year or so if it keeps going on. I mean, knock on wood, it probably won't, but I'm saying if it does, like, there's a lot of teams going to be in trouble.
Right.
Debo, thoughts on sports and COVID, like NFL. I think we saw today Premier League is out. They're gonna start back in June. I know Jay said hockey coming back in June, July. How is this gonna affect the sports world? Will it be like athletes will lose money, athletes not getting paid as much? What's your thoughts on that, Debo?
To be honest, I think it depends because I see you really and truly anytime like disasters like this happen, there's gonna be people who gain monetarily afterwards. So like, for example, the golfing thing that happened over the weekend with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, and Phil Mickelson. That did like huge numbers. Like 6.3 million people were watching that.
Really?
Yeah. It was like the most watched golf event in the history of America.
Super Bowl of golf.
Really?
Now, let's say the NBA comes back July. Everybody's gonna watch that. Those numbers are gonna do crazy. I think the same thing's gonna happen for every other sport.
Right.
So somebody might be able to like monetize off that. And I also agree with Jomo that online gambling, that's gonna definitely take off, because if people aren't seeing any money, it's like, yo, we have no choice at this point.
Yeah. Because
what's the name? Adam Silver already is interested in doing it. The NFL has been looking into it. So at this point, money's tough. It's just a matter of time.
Brand new revenue streams. That's exactly what they want. And it
That's
has to be related it has to be related and directly interactive to the online viewership. How else? You have to do some sort of online activity while the game's going on.
Yeah.
Right? We used to have intermission. Now we have whatever's going on your laptop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know those skip ads? You know those skip ads on YouTube? Because advertising is huge, right? Yeah. They might have like an ad, every like
video.
Yeah.
Every whistle.
Every possession you have an ad, and it says skip ad every possession.
This play is brought to you by.
Yeah.
For real. And I mean, I know the broadcast contract with the league already passed, but I think if they do move to strictly, keep in mind, right? Remember, pandemics will happen again. So they're going to have to create a plan to continue playing games in the future once this is going on, right? So I think a permanent change will be the online strategy, but it's all about monetizing, like Jomo said, gambling, or even having different agreements. So maybe show games on, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, right? So I think NBA can now say, you know what, we will give you rights to show our games, YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to make money, as Jomo said, in other ways, and partner with other companies that have a strong online presence.
Now that you mention it, I can see Facebook doing that.
Facebook, yeah.
Games exclusive to Facebook, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
could
mean,
totally
and to get
see
that
that.
agreement, but again, right, it's about finding ways to monetize. So if they have agreement with broadcasters, TV, and have ones with online partnership like Facebook, like you mentioned, or whoever, that's going to be, I think, will help them regain some market value, right? And of course, these players make money off of, endorsements. That won't change. But what I mean about the actual league, right, and owners is guys make enough money to own an actual stadium. These stadiums are not cheap. So having fans come to your games help you pay that bill. Having corporate sponsors at your games, right, help you pay that bill. Scotia Arena, which is called ACC Air Canada Arena Center, whatever, like depending on a corporate sponsor, right, they'll change the stadium name. AT&T, everyone has these names. So corporate sponsors will pull out of stadium sponsorship, which will really, really lower market value for these ownership. So like Jay said, some small teams will hurt, especially in the MLB league, right? There's some teams that aren't the Leafs, that aren't the Blue Jays, that aren't certain big, I would say, like marketplaces, so certain teams will, I think, just like how we saw Bath and Body Works closing down. I think a couple of huge stores have shut down now because of COVID. We can see teams too shutting down, like for real,
I was thinking, especially when you were making that point, Nelly, that when you look at some leagues, like specifically the NBA, where you have profit sharing with the players, right? Now it matters more, right? Because at the beginning of this whole thing, they were like, geez, like some guys, their salary with their expectation is going to have to be drastically reduced because guess what? The profit may even go into the negatives. Now you owe money. You know what I mean? By being a profit share. So it's going to matter. It's going to matter.
Keep this in mind also. So looks like the leading venue they're choosing is Disney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have like resort, they have like hotels, everything.
Wild World of Sports, ESPN, the Wild World of Sports.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So with Disney, like they own ESPN, so and that has to do with like advertising also, and like the part of their bargaining agreement that they have, right? So
I think the biggest thing though is the fact that they need to get a facility where they can house everybody together, entertain children, right? Has to be family oriented because you have to entertain children there, right? But be able to keep them in the same place for potentially 3 months to 4 months, right?
Which I think it works out best for the league though, because Disney and the league, they're already family already. They already have a mutual business interest with the league going forward.
Yeah.
Right? Opposed to going to some third party where the league would have to shell out for this to happen, right? So
exactly.
The difference benefit with having the Disney involved. I think the issue again is that there are so many teams. I mean, they can't house all the teams. They'll have to be obviously the top 18 for each conference. But I don't know if you guys saw Damian Lillard. He tweeted about how they should find a way to give the non-seeded top 8 teams a chance to make as top 8, which is correct, right? Some teams were doing a push for the playoffs, and now it's like, for Dame, he was saying that, if we don't get a chance to try to be 8th seed or 7th or whatever seed, then we're out altogether. So, but no, like I think sports moving forward, they're gonna have to definitely change their strategy for online presence and find ways to monetize more online if they can.
All right, what else you got there, Nelly?
Pardon me?
What else you have?
Oh, so I heard something about what you said last week, Faheem, about this UFC Island. What's that about?
No, that must have been Jomo, the UFC Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So along the same lines of the whole Disney thing, right? Different leagues are looking at alternatives of one, being able to house events without having any kind of government body that can infringe on their sport.
Okay.
UFC was obviously, pun intended, taking it to the extreme by getting their own island offshore where they wouldn't have any government bodies. They have their own facility. They can have their own events. They can have their own rules. They can have their own performers. And it's basically, just them. And still stream pay-per-view, obviously.
What, is Dana White the prime minister of this island?
That's what I'm about to say. Like,
Of course.
it has to be some kind of police security. Like, this sounds like
Everybody's
a
a
one-party island. Pardon me?
Everybody's a UFC fighter. Who do you have to protect from?
Fine, right? It's always going to be, remember, every fighter has his entourage. Who have one idiot boy in the entourage that'll do foolishness, right? Let's be real here. You know what I mean? But UFC Island, imagine if every league gets their own island. That will be hilarious.
That's not. See, I don't think that's going to work for like baseball and basketball and stuff like that, where it requires fans. Like, I want to see, I want to see Atlanta go into Toronto and beat Toronto. Like, I want to see Chicago go into New York, and I want to see the away teams go into other buildings.
Yeah.
And you do it on an island. There's no allure. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
it's just running on a random court. Like, you might as well go to the park and play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
To me, it's like the Olympics, right? Like an island league, the Olympics again, right? Because they all play in one spot. All those games is like Olympics.
Yeah. And again, where are you going to have the championship parade? If there's quarantine, how is the team going to celebrate?
In that
the city, I mean, like if say Milwaukee wins the NBA championship, like people in Milwaukee can't go celebrate because then everyone's going to get COVID. Like it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's hope COVID ends soon. Let's hope for that. So we'll end it today with something that we saw the other day about Toronto 6. There's a new hockey women's league coming out. Faheem, do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, so I just want to start with women's sports. Women individual sports seem to do well. Women organized team sports leagues do not seem to do well. I can't think of one successful women's organized team sport that.
He's not North American.
Yeah, okay, North American, that's fine. But even if you're talking in Europe, what are you talking? Football or soccer? Are you talking
rugby?
Basketball.
Rugby's big in Europe and basketball rugby? Too. Yeah,
basketball's big in Europe. Them girls get paid more than
they get paid
the
more
NBA, so they get paid
right.
Millions out there.
Fair enough. Well, North America, it's successful. It's trash, and they're trying to do a new league. Toronto 6 is the newest member. I think there's 6 teams. It's women's hockey league. So just a quick question. What do you guys think with this league? Do you think it's going to, like the other, I think it's 3 or 4 times before and it's folded.
Wait, where are these teams located?
They're in the northeastern part of the United States. So like, I think Connecticut. Anyway, let's see. I'll get that for you real quick.
I never heard of it. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I think you said it's all like northeast area. So I think Delaware, but Connecticut, New York, like just like the northeastern states, and then Canada has Toronto.
Right.
I think Boston has a either Boston area, Massachusetts, like that kind of area.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like salary caps and stuff, like they're getting paid and stuff.
Yeah, but I think they're getting paid. I think like it's very minimal.
Sanitizer.
Yeah, they need advertisers. Yeah, you're right.
They're getting paid in sanitizer and
I think my personal opinion is I think it's a good time to try doing professional women's hockey on a small level, especially if they can get their marketing right, I guess, because I think it's different than our generation, and we have to acknowledge that, right? We don't bring up girls to look at themselves as inferior and do things that boys can't do anymore. That's old school, right? That's where we grew up. That's not how it is anymore. So to think that there isn't already going to be an infrastructure in place where girls can go and play games in 20 years from now, it seems ludicrous. So why not start, right? Like, obviously it's not going to be on the scale of the Leafs right away, right? Maybe even not even Brampton Battalion, but it seems like you got to start somewhere, and you might as well start doing it now. Like, women's basketball is going to be a thing. Like, they're laying that down, right?
You think women's basketball is going to be a thing where?
WNBA, you mean?
I think in the United States it's going to be a thing. Yeah, the WNBA is going to be a thing.
But it's been a thing for like 20 years.
Yeah, but it's dealing with us. That's the problem. They're marketing to us, our generation. Our generation's different, right? That's what I'm saying. The generation that's now and coming next don't have the biases that we do. That's what I'm saying.
Real talk.
Right.
I think Kobe's daughter would have changed all that, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For
And I
sure.
think there is going to be another girl out there.
Yeah.
I think there is going to be another girl out there, right?
I agree.
I used to think that, but now I pivoted.
Really, Faheem? You were the biggest WNBA advocate.
I was. And now I'm just being realistic about the situation. A league that every team's losing money. They had an opportunity in Toronto to expand to Toronto, and they said they're not. And the reason why is because they're not looking to expand, which makes sense. Because if you're a league that's losing money, leagues don't expand when you're not profitable.
Exactly.
So just to point that
Toronto would help though.
Sorry,
Canadian
I
money.
think Toronto would help. Toronto would be a good market.
I think Toronto,
I don't know.
I think Toronto would be a good market. I do, but think about it. One of the more popular teams, the New York Liberty. I think we discussed this before, but the Liberty, they're owned by the Knicks, James Dolan, and they're continuously losing money. They've tried many different ways to try and make this work. They took them from Madison Square Garden.
I don't know if James Dolan, anything owned by James Dolan
Thank
is
you.
Incredible. It's credible.
James Dolan, come on. Name any other franchise.
I think the Knicks are losing money.
Any other guy, please.
Name anyone else for him.
But
anyone else.
I mean, it's a team in New York City, and they can't make it work. And not even that, like every team, like the Connecticut Sun, there's not an example of one team in the last 20 years that you could say, you know what, this is the model we want to use. So I understand what you're saying.
Actually, I'll fight you on that. The only team I think, or the most profitable team, I would say, is the West Coast team. So like Seattle, LA Sparks. Those teams actually have really good turnouts on their home games. Like if you watch their games, they have a lot of fans that go. Even Dallas, like their home games, people show up. You know what I mean? But the problem is that their games are played. So I think Dallas has a stadium built for their team and whatnot. The problem that these guys are playing, like if you're playing in a big NBA auditorium, it's a lot. It's kind of intimidating. You know what I mean? So I think if they change the location, start small, have a more intimate setting, and then grow to an NBA status, then cool.
But
to Debo's, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Jay. What were you saying?
I would say when Debo said about Gigi, I think if Diana Taurasi just started coming in the league now, I think that she would be that girl.
Yeah.
Because she was like in college, she was a
good point.
She was like the Michael Jordan of college.
But I think
if she came in now, within the next couple years, as that, she could have made maybe the WNBA a lot of a bigger product.
Yeah, but thing is to say that then there's never been, like, I think over the last 20 years, they've been good quality. I'm not doubting the quality of players. I'm doubting the business model to make it profitable for those players. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you there. Does anybody here watch the NBA?
I don't. Never.
I've watched, so I've been to games. So my friend coaches for a WNBA team, so I've been to a few games, and I've watched games on TV before. So from my experience, the live games, I brought my brother with me and his wife, and they were actually really lit. Like my brother was shocked. He couldn't believe how fast women, I guess he thought the girls, like, they're women basketball, whatever. But he was like, wow, like, they're athletic. Like, again, watching a live game, and from my experience, the online, or sorry, the TV, like whoever is recording these games, it's just really, really poor quality. Like the NBA has like 1,000 different cameras, and to me, I don't think the WNBA shows on TV really portrays the game live. Like, it's a lot better live than for me, when I went to the games, I had more fun watching it live than I did on TV. But as a woman, I thought it was good. Like, but again, I think for me, right, people compare it to the men's sport. So if you're used to watching NBA, they look at, oh, women's basketball is too slow. But I'm like, but like, you have to appreciate all sports. Like, to me, like tennis, right? When tennis first came out, they weren't appreciating women's tennis at first. They're like, oh, it's too much rallies. But now you're like, wow, like, you will sit down and watch a Serena match. You'd watch because it's entertaining now. So I think we just have to kind of change our approach to when we're watching the WNBA versus the NBA.
I watch more Serena matches than any other men, to be honest.
So
Pardon
Jay,
me?
I watch more Serena matches than the men's matches.
Yeah, me too.
so Jay, do you watch the WNBA?
No, I haven't watched a game since maybe.
Jomo, do you watch the WNBA?
I've only watched select players last year, but it's been a long time.
So in other words, the only one that watches it is a female who loves ball.
Hopefully.
So like,
that's your target audience, the females.
Here's the thing: I've watched quite a few WNBA games, and I would consider myself a fan of their sport. I think that their marketing is kind of trash, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
agreed.
And to your point, as you mentioned, Jay, like, imagine Diana Taurasi, right? The first female signed exclusively to LeBron, never having a commercial, like never having a girl to see like another girl in a commercial doing her thing with her own sneaker. That's so garbage. Like, you know what I mean? You wonder why there's no league for it, because you don't treat the athletes like they're anything. You know what I mean?
That's true. There's no marketing. There's no.
It's all in the marketing. The talent is there. The game is there. And I don't think it's going to be the way it was. I think it's going to be something different in the future.
I had this for Debo, since you're the only one. No, sorry. Nelly, she's a female and she loves ball. So of course I figure she's going to follow the WNBA. But Debo, you're a male and you love ball and you appreciate the WNBA. So I have a question. Do you know who won the championship last year in the WNBA?
Here's the thing.
No, hold on. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to make my point.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. Did you watch the All-Star game in the WNBA last year?
No.
Like, no, and
but it goes back to my marketing theme. I didn't know where it was.
Does not put you on the spot.
I don't think you're putting me on the spot at all.
Okay.
Because when I say that I watched quite a few games, I used to watch the NBA or WNBA a lot. Like I sit there and watch like back-to-back games of the WNBA. But this was around the time when what's her name?
Cheryl.
She played for the Indiana Fever. Tamika Catchings.
Okay, yeah.
So when she was playing, that's when I used to watch the WNBA.
So I mean, and you would be there's the female market, female ball market, and there's the male market of people who just love basketball, right? I just think that the WNBA now, and I'm gonna hedge, and even in the future, they're just not gonna get that other market of people to care enough about the league to follow the league.
So to me, I think they would, and this is how they're gonna do it. Just the same way how the NBA did it. You have to make a certain player your league. So like if you watch, like in the NBA, every era the NBA chose they chose the one. You know, like the Matrix.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Taurasi should have been the one.
Exactly. So in any league, you have to chose the one, right? Like your Neo. Once you pick your Neo, like what Jomo said, you got to now push them in everything. Push them in marketing, push them in shoes, have them sell or have their own brand. Because again, that's how you sell the league, by selling one player. So to me, whenever we get that one superstar player in the WNBA, and I mean, she will be like a Gigi Bryant or like a, like she'll be a trailblazer that can do it all, whatever, break records. But all you need is one. So get the one, and then I think that is going to help increase the popularity, because once the league is popular, then you can get more fans. So
I agree with that.
I think it's possible.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I kind of see it like they say, like, good looks. good looks will get you in the door, but a great personality will keep you there. And I think the same with this one star, in which I agree with that theory. But that one player, it's not going to make up for the fact that that one player is probably going to be that much better than everyone else. And the product of WNBA, I'm sorry, I don't think has that appeal that's going to have people outside of that one player to keep them interested enough to care about when the WNBA All-Star Game's happening, or when the playoffs are happening, or when the championships are happening, or any of that. I'm hedging against it. I might be wrong, but we'll see.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you think dunking would change all of that?
They already dunked, though.
No,
I'm talking about consistent dunking.
They don't dunk.
Throwing alley-oops to each other?
Yeah,
you think
for sure.
dunking would change that?
Yeah, I think, but again, I really think so. Women, you will see more women dunking in the future. I totally agree. Because I think was Lisa Leslie, was she the first person to dunk back in her day?
Yeah, now you have Bridget Griner or whatever.
Yeah, so again, right? But to me, it's beyond just dunking. I just think, I'm thinking in terms of a business standpoint, if you can get a good model, if one player can start, because again, look at the NBA, right? But like the NBA, you get that one GOAT or theory of a GOAT, that one player who will change the entire game. And I think before MJ, we'll get to that. Before MJ, the league, I mean, I think Magic, someone quoted that NBA players, their endorsement deals were $100,000. That was like all they got. Okay? And that was back, I think, in '84. $100,000 was your endorsement deal. $100,000, guys, $100,000. That's it.
A big deal, not just an endorsement deal.
Exactly, like the top players, right?
Yeah.
And then when MJ got paid $250,000, they were like, "Whoa, are you guys crazy?" Now, which player is signing a deal for $100,000 right now for any shoe? No one's doing that, right? It's not happening. So my thing is that all you need is, again, my theory is find the one, find your Neo. Once you get that person, she will make everyone better. Because when someone's showing you, hold up, she could do all this, you pick her brain, find, okay, so how's she doing this? Whatever, learn that regimen, trust me. To me, every year, the WNBA players have gotten better. And to me, it will get better and to a point where everyone will appreciate it.
Just the marketing needs to get better with the players.
Exactly.
It's a long game. It's not a short game. It's the marketing that's lacking.
Bingo.
They got a game to sell. They just don't know how to sell it.
And to me, the NBA, like David Stern, that guy's a genius, okay? That guy, I will tell you before, he is a guru. Before David Stern went to the NBA, like this guy changed that marketing ability of the NBA. That's why it became what it is now. David Stern is huge.
They should change the championship name.
Sorry?
The David Stern Championship. Larry O'Brien was a terrible commissioner.
But it's funny because Nelly, you say what the WNBA where's one from before to now. I'm going to ask you guys real quick. Grade over the last 20 years of an organization of 20 years of runway. Give it a grade of where you think it's gone from when it started till now.
So this is my theory, right?
Hold on. Give me an example. MLS started about 20 years ago, and now look at the MLS now.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
I'm giving the MLS an A. It's an A. I want you to grade. No, hold on. That's a 20-year runway. We're not talking about a new league. We're talking about 2 decades. So I'm asking you real quick. Hold on. Over the last 20 years, give me a grade of what you think the WNBA has been doing over the last 20 years. Jomo.
C-.
Jay.
Sure, C-.
Nelly.
C.
Debo.
D. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
For the amount of time the WNBA has been around, when the NBA first started, in that same time, they were doing worse than the WNBA was.
Mm.
So, given that, well, not to say that there's a correlation between those two things, but if the NBA could do it, so could the WNBA. Because the NBA, by all means, should have failed. David Stern saved it.
But the WNBA is 20 years in, and there's still not a profitable
But again, so was the NBA 20 years in.
Well, the NBA, that's true. They wasn't profitable until like I'll say the mid '80s. When it became more profitable.
So the WNBA needs two things. They need a David Stern, and they need a Michael Jordan.
Period. So, or you know what? Like again, latch onto a player. Even now, the NBA latched onto LeBron, Steph Curry. They latch onto players and go, "Hey, we like you. Look, you know, like they're really good at picking players and making them the face of the league. They've been doing that for the last since David Stern's theory with MJ, with Magic, Bird, MJ. Like he's always latched on to the best player in his opinion, and latched on and marketed the crap of that player in commercials and everything. Honestly, like you said, Debo, I've never seen I've never seen in my life a WNBA commercial.
Wow.
They're only showed on the NBA channel. The commercials but I've never seen in my life, I've never seen Sportsnet in Toronto or TSN WNBA game, like a commercial for it ever. Like ever. Like I see commercials for games on ABC, on other channels, but never WNBA. So again, I just feel that, and for example, even the playoffs last year, they weren't showing every playoff game for WNBA in Toronto. They weren't.
So after 20 years, they can't get a sponsor to care enough to invest into it.
Well, again, that's a discussion about who's the people who are making decisions, right? Do you think there's women running these television companies?
The WNBA is not tape delayed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, keep in mind who's making decisions, Faheem, when it comes to choosing and picking who to sponsor and who to advertise, right? There's a lot going on when it comes to women in sports beyond just like.
So you think that people who are running the WNBA are not actively looking for advertisers being in business?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people.
I don't think they're looking for the right advertisers.
Yeah, exactly. The folks who are deciding on who they're going to show. For example, if I can pick WNBA to show on my channel, right, or a rerun of Big Bang Theory, right? They don't care about WNBA. They care about, you know what? Well, I'm a white guy that runs this channel, and I'm a fan of this show, so I'm picking that over WNBA. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we have the people that care about the league in making those decisions on who they're picking to sponsor. You know, feel me? So again, it's beyond just sports. I think, like what Debo said, in the next 10 years, when you see people of color, see more women move into executive positions and who have respect for all sports, women and men, you're going to see a lot different sponsors and more put for WNBA, but without coming time. Feel me? So again, it's just not just the WNBA. I think people didn't respect it at first either. I think a lot of men were like, women basketball team, whatever. Like they didn't care about it. But Kobe, who has daughters, were like, you know what? I have a daughter that loves basketball. And he saw the beauty in the game even before having Gigi. He would attend games from day one. So to me, if more and more players respect these athletes that are women, respect their game, respect these games, you will see more and more popularity in the game. Like I think I see LeBron attend games too sometimes. You know, so it's just having more and more athletes show respect to their fellow female athletes. So it's beyond just sports. You know what I mean? But again, like Debo said, I truly believe once they get their NEO, the one, and I think the new commissioner, she raised I think their salaries is all raised now. So I think they're all making like $200,000 or it's more salary now for these players. So that to me is a big step, raising salary. And that was with Kobe's influence and other athletes in the NBA saying, hey, pay these women more, pay them more, right? So I don't know, man. Get the one.
Let's have a Zoom meeting in 20 years and we'll.
Yeah.
down.
At the end of the day, basketball, out of all the team sports, is very individualistic. So if you look at football, you do not play one side of the ball completely. In basketball, one person can be the difference in winning or losing the game on both sides of the ball. And the NBA is very good at marketing individuals when it comes to the NBA. The WNBA, they're still on that team stuff. Everything's about the individual teams as opposed to the individual players. If they started marketing the individual players more, I think they'll do a lot better.
Yep.
But the WNBA, they have an affiliation with the NBA. So it's not like they don't have, it's not like they're a completely separate entity where they have to work out these, how do we market? And how, they have access to the NBA. They have access to the same resources to make this happen, which is more alarming actually, that if you have access to it and you still can't get it to happen, it's not a good look.
Yeah. I think a lot of the same early issues to Debo's point, the WNBA is going through. I think we all agree that they're trying to get to that magic level where they have that one, but I still think they had opportunities. You know what I mean? Like you have the Skylar Diggins, you have the Diana Taurasi's, right? And it'd be interesting to see maybe soon, maybe 5 years down the line, why those people never worked out. Sorry?
I was gonna say pregnancies kill the WNBA too.
But that's a story that they can sell. And to me, that's like PR 101, right? How to sell your loss, right? This amazing superstar had to go down because she chose to have a baby. Right, it's amazing.
Sounds like a soap opera.
That's how you do it, though.
But you know what?
Play to that. What are you doing during your pregnancy? How are you keeping in shape? They should play to that.
You know, they should play into that. You know what I mean? Like, how did you go so long carrying, like, and playing at that level? So you're telling me you were at 3 months when you made that defensive block? Yes, I was. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
great. Know what else they should do? Know what else they should do? They should try to get all the LGBT guys on that bandwagon, yo.
Dude, they already have like 80% of the women in the league, right? Again, they just haven't been able to market them. I feel like that's the thing. They don't want to sell the truth. Literally, that's probably the problem. They don't want to sell the truth. They don't want to see like this is a women's league about women. Like, but watch them go, right? They don't want to sell that. They're trying to still make it too masculine. I think it just feeds into the psychology that we came up in. Honestly, that's what I think it is.
Yeah. Well, no, honestly, guys, like I think we kind of covered sports, COVID, what that would look like. We'll see what these leagues decide on. Will the NBA come back or not? Will the NFL come back or not? But we know
NFL want to come back for sure.
Pardon me?
They want to come back for sure. They ain't trying to lose any
Exactly.
money.
They're all gonna come back. I think it'll be really cool to see how creative these leagues will get, and what they're gonna do. But like I think at the beginning we all said, if you win a championship this year, I mean in any league,
don't rate it.
If you win a ring this year in any league with no fans, asterisks.
And if the NBA doesn't come back, the Raptors are not the defending title champs.
Okay, fine. Who is? Who is?
And still.
That's the guy with the Hawks.
Nobody. Okay.
That's the guy with the Hawks jersey, number 11.
Nobody.
Atlanta Hawks. We have.
I think we still have Larry O'Brien is still north of the border though. He stayed.
Yeah, no, he's stuck in COVID. He's stuck in a quarantine location.
And he's loving
All right,
it.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for joining this episode, everyone. Make sure you subscribe and like.
Always a pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you for being on it. Debo, Jay.
Thank you, Debo.
Jomo.
I should wear my Rudy Gobert jersey.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's another team that's gonna have to get blown up.
Okay, so before we log out, we always do something. Faheem and I have a tradition where you have to give a shout out to something. It could be an athlete, an event, anything, but you can make a shout out to anything in particular you want before we end the episode. So what's your shout out?
Cool.
So I guess Faheem will go first, or you're not ready yet?
Oh no, I'm all I think about. I'm shouting out my daughter.
Ooh, that's huge. Yeah.
April 1st. I'm shouting her out. She's a beauty.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Who's next? Debo? A shout out?
Shout out the all the people out there putting their lives on the line to help us do whatever it is we need to get done, whether it's doctors, people at grocery stores, whatever. People who are all the essentials out there. Shout out to you guys.
Nice. Jay?
Shout out to everybody surviving without sports.
The big one.
That's you. Jomo?
Oh, wow. brain fart. Shout out. Come back to me.
Okay.
You're the last one, aren't you?
So I'll go then. So my shout out is to just everyone who are keeping their mental health in check. I think
That's
we
on
all
point.
need to remember that this is traumatic. It's everyone's taking it
Absolutely.
differently. If your friends don't call you, if they do call you, don't watch that. Just really focus on staying positive and doing the things that you enjoy to do to keep your mental health in check. So just everyone that's fighting that battle, whether it's depression, anxiety, I'm shouting you guys out. You're not alone. You matter. I want to give everyone that is having problems with this pandemic, enough love.
Salute. Shout out to everybody who's fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. Yeah, without rioting.
Arbery, justice for Floyd, justice for Ahmaud Arbery, justice for Breonna Taylor, justice for any injustices out there, for sure.
All women players everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Awesome.
All right.
Well, that's those in. Thank you for
Zoned
tuning in.
Zoomed in.
Zoomed in.
Zoomed in. All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right, guys. Deuces.
Peace. Thank you.
Bye.